Okay. So automating repeating instruments survey. So I'm going to start from scratch pretty much with this. And I've learned that people seem to like it blown up a little bit so that you can see it better. All right. And Stephen, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the goal is to be able to send out repeating instruments or surveys regularly to your people, correct?
A little bit more on top of that, where we have, let's say, visit 1, visit 2, and visit 3.
Yeah.
And in visit 1, we want to send out 10 surveys, and that works perfectly. But in like visit 2 and 3, it's not the 10. It's maybe 2 or 3 of the surveys, and it changes for each event as we perform further into the study.
Okay. I think the only way we can do this is one way. So let's set up one. I'm going to show you in this demo project. What I think you're going to have to do is recreate this multiple times based on the different permutations you will have for your project. But we can get to that after I try to get this set up. So first thing I want to do is add some instruments. So I've got, let me see. Let's see here. All right, I've got a screening form, and I have a question that will just ask how you're feeling. So this just has a how are you feeling today kind of deal. And the goal of this would be, every day you want your participant to answer whatever this survey is and do it so that it's automated, so you're not trying to manage sending this out to all your different people all the time. So the first thing that we need to do is go to our project setup and turn on the surveys, because we're going to want to use surveys. So I turn on the survey. And then I'm going to go back to my designer, and we're going to enable the how are you feeling. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff at the beginning. I'll leave the stuff at the end just for no good reason. And obviously you could always change that. All right, so I've got my how are you feeling survey and my screening form. Screening form has just basic questions, Okay, so the second thing I want to do here is set the instrument up as a repeatable instrument. So I'm going to enable that here, and I'm going to say I want the how are you feeling as a repeatable instrument, and I'll save it. And I should have remembered the variable name here. I'm just going to copy this real quick and go back to my project setup and my repeatable instruments. I'll pop that assessment date in here so that it makes it easier when you get these responses back and see them on your dashboard. And I recommend this all the time for people that are using repeating instruments use some kind of custom label, basically piping in some value that would alert you as to what makes it unique. Okay, so we've done that much. Then we want to go back to our online designer. And we want to turn on the survey queue. Okay, so the survey queue, we're going to activate the how are you feeling, and we're going to click on when the following survey is completed and just save this. This is essential to making this whole process work. And I think it's a little confusing that there's no logic and there's no nothing. You just like turned it on, but then you didn't do anything. Also, add the auto start. Also, I'm sorry. So those things, and then save it. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to how you feeling survey. Sorry about that. All right, let me go back and just make sure you saw that. All I had to do is when the following survey is completed, I forgot to use the drop-down box and just say, I want the how the feeling, even though the survey title is here, you still need to indicate in this box what survey you're going to be using in the survey queue. Okay, so that's how to set that up. Now that we sort of have that set up as a repeating instrument, a survey, and set up with a survey queue so that it's available to be sent out regularly. The next thing we need to do is set up something in our alerts and notifications. This is going to allow us to send out an email to our participants as we so that they can know to complete the survey and send it back in. So I'm going to add a new alert here. And I'm going to just say when a record is saved on a specific form, and I'm going to say on the how are you feeling. So when it's saved, and it's important that it be complete. So when this survey is saved with complete status, how often should this be triggered? This is another key piece of this, but because we not only want this alert to be triggered every time per record, but also every instance of that repeating instrument. So every time the repeating instrument is saved with a complete status, this triggers this alert. All right, so following along here, we want to send the alert immediately. When this is saved, so it like gets you started. This is up to you. You could change this if you wanted and have it sent out, like a day after you trigger the alert, whatever. But in this case, the next key piece here is you want to send it out multiple times on a recurring basis. So we're going to send this multiple times on a recurring basis, and you're going to say, probably you're going to send it out every day after that first time is sent out. And then you can leave this blank if you're going to send it out forever. The last project that I demoed this for had a limit of 20 times they wanted it to go out, 20 days. But Stephen, that'd be totally up to you how you would set this up. So you could send it out every day, every hour, every minute, whatever. So that I can demonstrate it, I'm going to say it's going to go out every minute. That way I can test it and show you. And I'm going to say only send it out 3 times so that I don't like want to hang myself because this thing keeps getting sent to me. All right. So those are our settings for the alert. And if you don't use alerts and notifications, this is just an absolutely awesome tool for you to familiarize yourself with. So I'm going to send it from me so that I know. And if you remember, you can have it come from any email address. In fact, I'll have it come from REDCap. Any email address that you have associated to your account. And if you need help in understanding how to associate an email account to your account, then let us know. We can show you how to do that. You can have up to 3. So I'm going to pick to send from REDCap, and then I'm going to select, I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. This is a variable that we set up, that I set up on my screening form called email address. So I'm going to email that to whatever email address I put in when I fill out the screening form. And then for a subject, now you're pretty much on your own. And down in here, you're going to want to put whatever text you want. But this piece would be key and you can find out, this is a smart variable. And you would, if you look at smart variables, you can see what all the smart variables are, and you can use them in piping into your project. Okay, so I think that's it. We have our alert and we have our project set up for multiple repeating instruments. So let me test this out and we'll keep our fingers crossed. I'll add a new record here. And the screening form, if you remember, or if you don't remember, was not a survey. You could easily make it a survey. You could have it a survey and then use the auto continue feature to have it go to how are you feeling. But in this case, I'm just going to plug some data in here. And this is set up because of how the last demonstration that I did on this was set up. So no. Yes, I got it. I got it. I should read what I have here. Okay. All right. So I have now got my screening form. You get the data in there either through direct data entry or through a survey that you've posted, a public survey. So now we want to go into the how are you feeling, and then we want to automate this. So, actually, right. So on the assumption that we went to this already, I'm just going to fill this in. Today is the 14th. I'm feeling very happy. It's complete. If this is a survey, in fact, let me refresh this. And let's open it as a survey so we can see how this looks. back in here again. Open it as a survey. Yeah. There we are. Okay, so now I'm going to say I'm happy, submit this. And so now, if this is going to work okay, we now show below here that this survey was completed. This is what the person's going to see. This is that text that it was the default at the bottom of the survey when it was designed. So I'm going to close the survey. And if you haven't dealt with sending surveys out from within a record, this is always here. You always want to leave without saving changes. That just means that you're going to leave the record because you aren't actually making any edits. The edits are coming from the participant. So I have an email here that I received, which I will show you. Okay, here's what I have. And if I click on that link, okay, so this happened to me before. I forgot one piece. Just give me 1 second. And I will fix this. And I have to remind myself. I know there's something easy here. What did I change? What did I change? I have to allow. See, this is why I should have done this before, but we just didn't have time. While I'm thinking, I'm going to enable this email field so that it knows where it's supposed to send this. And I think this had to do. Let me just check my survey queue. Oh, I know what it was, I think. Yep, as it allow the respondents to repeat the survey. I should have had that checked. So let me just save this. And I have received 2 more links. So let me find my email. Here we are. Let's pull that over here. See what this looks like now. Okay, so this opens up browser, and now you get this take the survey again. So you can open this up, and so now, you know, it's tomorrow. You submit this, and I didn't even say what my status was, but that's okay. I'm going to close this, delete this, and then of course I already got a new link, which I'm going to open here. And here we go. Take the survey again. How are you feeling? So this allows you to automate that sending out of requests to fill out a repeatable instrument. And Stephen, for you, you would have to then set these notifications up. And you wouldn't have to do one for every single instrument, but you would for your bunches. So first of all, I am going to turn this off for the moment. Just remember the multiple times. But what you're going to do is down here, look at your smart variables and find out how to indicate what instrument, what survey should go out. And here's the link for a particular instrument. So you would just put in survey URL and the colon and the instrument name. And if you wanted to be sure about the instrument name, if you look at your code book, and this is what I do whenever I'm, you know, dealing with that kind of thing. Here is the text that you need to put in to that survey link as the instrument. This is the instrument name as far as how REDCap handles it programmatically. So when you send out a link, this is what you're going to want to put in. You're not going to put in this because that's just a label. This is actually the variable name for that particular instrument. So when you do your alert and notification, make sure that you stick that, you know, use the smart variable designation that looks like this. We'll stick that in there. And this is going to be, again, from the code book here. Oh. And that's it. Questions? What do you think, Stephen?
It's a lot right now.
I know. I know we're gonna turn it into a video. And Meg, I'll send you Stephen's email address. Can you email him what it looks like on the assumption of we have this actual on a video? I'm just praying on that.
Yeah, I can send it to him.
Thanks. Will that be helpful, Stephen?
Most definitely. I'm just trying to think of how to apply this without alerts, but with the study I'm currently using and other studies associated, and trying to get them to work based on different events. And I think you're giving a lot of valuable information right now.
Do you see why I wouldn't even attempt to tell you this in an email?
Yes.
It's just too much. And I know there's a lot of moving parts. And having said that, just because I did this presentation doesn't mean that you can't reach out to me when you've turned on your survey and say, I don't remember another thing that you told me. That's fine. But I really wanted to get this on video if we could, because you're now the second person that's asked this, and this is more of a workaround than it is something that's intuitive, or because most of the stuff in REDCap is like, just click a button and turn something on or turn something off. But this requires like a workaround that you would not understand easily. So that's why I wanted to demonstrate it here and then post it, and then I can hopefully refer people to it if they have this question, because if one person has it now, I already have two people that have asked this. You just have a little bit of a different situation where you're going to want to configure more than one. Well, actually, you're going to have a more difficult time perhaps. Oh my. Because, and have you used continuous surveys or form skip logic? Do either of those sound familiar to you?
No, I've
All right.
just recently integrated the was it survey queue in our distribution of our surveys.
All right. I just want to point this out to you quickly. Again, this is one that, you probably understand. I'm going to add an instrument below here. And enable this as a survey. And put a quick all right. So I'm going to go back to my survey, how are you feeling, and go to the survey settings. And there's an option here that allows you to auto continue to the next survey. Now, get this notice here, because the survey queue is turned on. The survey queue you might find more helpful about deciding what instruments open up next. The survey queue would automatically open the next survey. However, in the survey queue, notice that, you can decide, what, like when is the EKG opened? It's opened after, how are you feeling? So, you're managing that workflow with the survey queue. So, but both are ways to move around. And just to let you hear the name there, I don't know if I doubt that you've enabled any modules at all, but there is an option down here called external modules. If you want to enable a module, we have over 100 different plugins that might be able to help you with a project. And there is one called Form Skip Logic. here. When you want to add an external module to your project, you click on the enable. Form render skip logic allows you to show or not show instruments or surveys that are in a particular order. So if you had like 6 or 12 instruments here, and if a response for how you are feeling today was happy, and you only wanted to show, 3 of the subsequent instruments, you would handle that through the form render skip logic external module. Again, I have no expectation that you're going to remember all that, but I just mentioned it. So somewhere in your head, you'll know that something like that's possible in case you ever need it. And come back to us. We'll be happy to help you with that logic if you decide to use that as part of your project. So what do you think? You okay for now?
Yes, for now. Would it be possible to have branching survey queues depending on like the preliminary question in like the first instrument?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you'd be able to say below here that you're only going to show this if
Like certain
I'm only
logic
going
is
to
met?
show that if this I don't know what let me just see what the variable name was here. I should have guessed. All right, so you're going to say only show that if the variable equals 1, which I'm guessing is happy. So, it's very similar to branching logic. I mean, you only are going to see this when that is true. So, in fact, ironically, this is how I mentioned at the beginning that we are currently hosting the registration of people that are signing up for the COVID vaccine right now. That project that was built in there is using the survey queue to better handle the flow, because they have like maybe 6 or 8 different instruments, and they bounce around based on answers to questions, and all that's being handled through the survey queue. Good?
Yes.
Again, don't hesitate to come back to us, and I don't expect that you will remember everything that you just saw.